Now, Season 9 may not be the heaviest season content-wise, but we are indeed finally getting some changes to the meta in this game, having several new and interesting builds to choose from. So let's check it out, shall we? Ranking some of the top builds heading into the new season, assuming they don't get nuked before then, which is a possibility. I'd also like to mention that we're giving away another banger PC in this one.
Nice.
How to join will be at the end of the video. And starting us off, we have the new Spiritborn builds. And with builds, I'm talking about every build relying on the Balazan Pantaloonies. The Quill Volley version is looking to be the strongest damage-wise, but you can play any fucking skill you want as long as it hits fast and often. And why do we need to hit fast and often? Well, shit, because that's everything you need to trigger the Pantaloony effect. Every time you hit an enemy, you're triggering thorns and poison damage. This in turn stacks higher the more hits you dish out via the new damage over time gem, but also from the hits you receive. And you like that, don't you? You fucking dog. Finally, this all comes together when we have our Noxious Resonance Key passive turn the poison damage over time into an instant damage explosion. And it's probably good they nerfed the shit out of this passive because the build managed to clear a pit 115 with the new version, making Spiritborn the second best, if not best class, heading into the new season. Getting this thing online is also going to be easy. No difficult to hit breakpoints or anything. You're simply getting the unique pants and progress as you go, stacking up thorns, attack speed, and some Diablo 4 enjoyment as you go. Now, you're probably wondering how the hell this is not the best build in the game when it's already clearing 115. Well, it's due to the Sorcerer yet again, and the interaction that's yet to be nerfed 5 seasons in, the Makuna Hydra burn Shatter Sorcerer. First off, Hydra is goddamn bonkers in the new season by itself. This is due to the new unique, the Ophidian Iris. Utilizing this, our Hydras deal a buttload of damage, which also explodes for AoE damage. Using this while stacking Hydra heads and burning damage, this build was already clearing pit 100s. But of course, this fucking guy had to come along and slap on the Shatter Key passive in combination with our new Heradric power, turning burning damage into instant damage, which in case you didn't know, Shatter doesn't work with damage over time spells. Doing this, the build became capable of clearing above pit 120 again. So no need to cry about losing your precious Lightning Spear build if you're into pushing the pit, because you have an equally as strong, if not stronger, new build now. Congratulations. Next up, we have the Barbarian builds. For the last 2 seasons now, Earthquakes have been the bomb. They've been dominating the bar builds, having the top 5 bar builds or so relying on Earthquakes, partially due to them being 10 times stronger than all other builds and partially due to the second best build being a fucking pain to play. So, what did Blizz do to offset this? Well, they completely obliterated Earthquakes. They nuked the Paragon, but more importantly, Executioner's aspect. All in all, the Earthquakes were nerfed by a factor of 10 to 20x or so. So, is it all doom and gloom for the Barb next season? Hell no, the Barb is still hitting for trillions and will easily clear pit 100s. But not with Earthquakes even though it may look like it, but instead due to Twisters. We're simply going to play Pet Twister Barb, where we rely completely on the Aretes-bearing Pantaloonies to spawn them. The reasons this works is simply due to the amount of multipliers Dust Devils have access to. For starters, the Twister damage on the Pantaloonies is inherently higher than Earthquake damage, but we also have access to Dust Devil's size turned into multiplicative damage and a stronger Paragon board, all in all, making the build stronger than Earthquakes this new season, and just slightly weaker than Earthquakes in the previous season. So in case you enjoyed pets flying all over the place with twisters, chaos, and shit everywhere, you'll be just fine next season as well. And if you are desperate for having your Earthquakes back, that will be fine as well, just a whole lot weaker than the previous season. Alright, and next up is the fat, wood-chopping man. After 2 seasons of playing a painful snapshotting fiesta, Cataclysm got its asshole turned outside in. May as well, and in we go with an actual fun build. Flesh Render Bulwark Overpower. Basically, what you do with this build is you bash your head on your keyboard as hard as possible and press as many buttons at once as you can. The main damage from this build comes from your Earthen Bulwark. Anyone remember Season 0 and 1 when Bulwark used to top the meta? Yes sir, that's in fact possible yet again. As I mentioned, it's all possible due to the Flesh Render weapon. By using this, we can stack up a shit ton of damage simply by stacking willpower, which we want to do anyways. We then unleash this damage using a defensive skill, which Earthen Bulwark is, but also debilitating Roar and Cyclone armor. We then use Vasili's Prayer to turn our Flesh Render damage into a Werebear skill to utilize a bunch of additional multipliers, and we use the runes to overpower. Finally, to make all of our skills spammable, we utilize Petrify to reset our cooldowns, and to reset Petrify again, we have our lovely Spirit Boons and Flicker Step, if necessary. This turns the build into a spamming machine, and also the first time I'm excited to play the Fat Wood Chopping Man for 3 seasons. Next up is the Rogue. How's it looking in Season 9? Well, pretty fine. The class got some new builds in the form of Poison Trap and whatnot, but the top build is still the Death Trap build. Fortunately for us though, the build is fucking fantastic as it's incredibly fast and fun to play. But what's changed since last season, and how much shittier is it compared to Season 8? Well, quite a bit shittier. Overpower got the boot, Death Trap in itself got nerfed, and the Death Trap pantaloonies were moved from a must-have to utter trash. Despite this though, the build is still great and can indeed clear Pit 100. Perhaps upwards of Pit 105. And seeing as we won't be relying on Overpower quite as much next season, you're going to have an easier time gearing up for it. Other than that though, the build is basically the same. So let's head on over to the Necro. What's looking to be the best build here? It's still the Bloodboner build. It's just way shittier. A bunch of passives were nerfed along with Overpower being gutted. But it's alright. Seeing how disgustingly broken it was last season, and also with all the other top builds being nerfed in mind, it's going to be one of the overall best builds. But just to make you guys cry a tiny bit less, let's talk about another build, a fan favorite, the Minion Necro, because it so happens that this build is finally back on the menu again, capable of clearing upwards of Pit 100 in the pit, making it the best it's ever been. And it has a lot to do with the new unique, the Nas Gloves. Utilizing this, Necro minions are finally good again. It boosts the shit out of your Skelly boys, meaning you'll ditch all of your other minions and focus solely on your mages. Not only does this increase your Skelly mage damage flat out, but it also has an added benefit. It grants them AoE damage. And what was the thing these lacked previously? Exactly, AoE damage. Thing is though, this is completely relying on them actually staying alive. And in case you are unaware, these fuckers goes full out kamikaze every chance they get. Or do they? Nah, my man or woman. Because in a previous season, we got the kamikaze aspect where you'll kill off your warriors and grant your mages a humongous damage boost and 90% damage reduction. Using this, you're getting a 3x multiplier when imprinted onto your two-handed, and your mages are actually able to stay alive. Great, huh? Damn right. A must-play build for any necromancer enjoyer. Alright, and how would I rank all of these lovely builds, and in turn also the classes? When it comes to pit pushing, this is how I think it'll do. On the top of the top, we're going to have the Hydra Sorcerer. This is due to how strong Hydras are, sure, but mainly also due to how disgustingly broken the Shatter Tech still is. No other class is really getting close due to this unless we find some interactions for the other classes as the season launches. Rank number 2 is looking to be the Cringeborn. The new pantaloonies are just absolutely disgusting, and the class is dealing trillions of damage already. And mind you, this build is completely new, meaning there are still interactions to be discovered. All of the other top builds on this list have already been tested during the previous seasons, but here we'll actually be able to find some new stuff on top of already being broken, hopefully. Number 3, I believe, is the Shit Smearer. This is simply due to Dust Devils, well, still existing, but also due to it not relying on the heavily nerfed overpower. The pet Dust Devil Barb is still hitting for trillions of damage, and it was capable of farming on Pit 100, meaning it has some serious potential. Next up, I'll throw in the Emo. This guy definitely got the boot, but considering how high it was clearing previously, being the second strongest build in the game, I think it will be just fine. It should land somewhere in the proximity of the Shit Smearer, clearing upwards of Pit 105 to 110 or so, and if you're not a fan, then you just go Minion, as it's actually a good build for once. At number 5, I'm putting the Fat Wood Chopping Man. This build is looking fantastic, clearing Pit 100 without much issues, and that's with a fairly new build, meaning there will be untapped potential of this build available and some maximizing of damage to do. It also has the added benefit of looking fun, so there's that. And finally, on the last spot, we have the Rogue and Death Trap. Death Trap Rogue was in the bottom 3 of classes last season, and it got absolutely dicked in Season 9, but it's still looking to be the best build we have available. And it's one hell of a fun build, so we always have that going for us. Alright folks, and as promised, this is how you can win this banger PC. The Crimson Market gives away one custom-made, one-of-a-kind PC every month, and with my link, you're able to enter the draft for free using this golden ticket. You're free to enter and leave a giveaway as you please, but the longer you stay a member, the higher the chances are of winning a PC. The giveaway will take place on the stream of the Bald Hoodie Man or Woody Joe. And with that, sign up to win a PC, and I'll see you in the next one, friends.